Today's Bible story pertains to Nabal, David, and Abigail. It is found in 1 Samuel chapter 25. David, not yet king, was living in the wilderness of Paran with his men. They provided protection to the shepherds and flocks of a wealthy man named Nabal, who lived in Maon and owned property in Carmel. Nabal was known to be harsh and evil in his dealings, despite his wealth. When it was shearing time, David sent 10 young men to Nabal, asking for provisions as a gesture of goodwill since they had protected Nabal's shepherds and flocks. The young men respectfully conveyed David's message, but Nabal scornfully refused and insulted David, questioning his legitimacy and integrity. David, angered by Nabal's response, prepared to attack Nabal and his household. He armed his men and set out to avenge the insult. Meanwhile, one of Nabal's servants informed Abigail, Nabal's wise and beautiful wife, about the situation. Realizing the impending danger, Abigail quickly gathered a generous amount of food and provisions and set out to meet David. When Abigail saw David, she dismounted her donkey and bowed before him. She humbly pleaded for forgiveness on behalf of her husband, acknowledging his foolishness. She presented the gifts to David and reminded him of his future as king of Israel, urging him not to shed blood unnecessarily or seek revenge. David, moved by Abigail's wisdom and humility, accepted her gifts and blessed her for preventing bloodshed. He acknowledged that she had kept him from acting rashly. Abigail returned home, and the next day she informed Nabal of what had transpired. Upon hearing the news, Nabal's heart failed, and he became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died. When David heard of Nabal's death, he praised God for avenging the insult without David's hand. David then sent for Abigail and asked her to become his wife. Abigail agreed and became one of David's wives. Proverbs Wisdom Commentary. Proverbs 8:19 states, "My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver." This verse speaks to the incomparable value of wisdom and the benefits it brings, surpassing even the most precious earthly riches. Abigail exemplified the fruit of wisdom. Despite being married to a foolish and harsh man, she acted with discernment and humility, valuing peace and righteousness over material wealth. Her quick and wise intervention not only saved her household, but also prevented David from committing a grave sin of vengeance. David, though initially set on revenge, recognized the superior value of wisdom when confronted by Abigail. Her wise counsel reminded him of his future as king and the importance of maintaining his integrity. By accepting her advice, David avoided unnecessary bloodshed and upheld his honor. Nabal, in contrast, acted without wisdom, valuing his wealth over kindness and respect. His refusal to acknowledge David's protection and his subsequent insult reflected his foolishness. Ultimately, his lack of wisdom led to his downfall and death, illustrating that material wealth without wisdom is precarious and fleeting. The story highlights that true revenue comes from wisdom, as seen in God's intervention. Nabal's wealth could not save him, while Abigail's wise actions and David's acceptance of wisdom brought about divine justice and blessing. Abigail's wise and righteous behavior resulted in her becoming David's wife, securing her position and well-being. In summary, Proverbs chapter 8 verse 19 underscores that the fruits of wisdom, peace, righteousness, and divine favor are far more valuable than material wealth. Abigail's actions and David's response illustrate how wisdom brings lasting benefits that surpass any earthly riches. Psalms Wisdom Prayer. Psalms 119 verses 137 to 144. You are just, O Lord, and your judgments are fair. The rules you impose are just and absolutely reliable. My zeal consumes me, for my enemies forget your instructions. Your word is absolutely pure, and your servant loves it. I am insignificant and despised, yet I do not forget your precepts. Your justice endures, and your law is reliable. Distress and hardship confront me, yet I find delight in your commands. Your rules remain just. Give me insight so that I can live. Amen.